Hey Mario. Hey Mario. Sorry, I'm trying to get into character. And sometimes you gotta have a specific line to get into character.
All right, is everyone here?
Yeah.
Well then, gosh. Does my sound? Do I sound all right, Harry?
Uh, Coming from my side, you sound fine.
Sells seashells by the seashore. All right. Hello, folks in the audience. This is another episode of Storytime with Scrappy, our third and last one before we take a break.
Yeah.
We're only doing this so soon because we have to continue my award-winning story. This once again is Harry
Hello. Actually, I'm gonna.
Tanner,
Tanner.
Tanner.
Ah. This is a great start.
if you'll bear with us for one moment, folks, we're just going to wait for one of our co-actors
Yeah.
to show up.
Sounds good. Okay. That's good to hear. I'm just pausing because, like always, I'm gonna mute my mic when these guys start going, going off, and I don't think I'm. I don't think.
Have we started? I disconnected a little.
Oh, hi. You're back.
I'm also
Hello,
here
everyone.
and slightly drunk.
Yeah.
Not really drunk.
Once again is Tanner. Say hi to the kids.
This is where I say something offensive, right? Hi. Hi, everyone. How
I
y'all
see
doing?
Nova's dialogue ring lighting up, but I can't hear him, unfortunately.
Oh no, that's.
Drop the call a
Oh, it's
moment
just.
for a brief moment.
Why do I keep disconnecting?
Oh no, it's just clearing.
Tanner's gonna corrupt all the kids. Yeah,
Mother. This is a great start to the stream, everyone.
yeah, this is a bit of a mess.
We keep
Or can you say something
disconnecting.
again?
Can we
I
start
said,
Hello. Oh, you want to start over? Okay. Hi, kids. Welcome to another episode of Storytime with Scrappy. I'm Scrappy Fan 92. With us again is our friend Harrison
Hi.
Tannerson
it's me, you drunk uncle.
and Nova.
Hello.
For our session today, we will be hopefully finishing the last two, as of now, chapters of my story, The Super Mario Show.
If you're wondering why I'm drunk, it's because we're finishing the last two chapters of his story, The Super Mario Show.
And like always, I'm gonna have myself on mute for most of this because I don't think these guys want to hear me make controller noises loudly through this.
Oh, what you playing? What you playing, fam?
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Oh, goddamn Donkey Kong Country. Just that entire series is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
could play.
that is our
I could play Smash if I wanted to, Lois, because they wouldn't hear it, but maybe not.
But no. Look, no, just play Donkey Kong Country.
No,
Yeah, did you guys hear about that guy who? Oh, it was gaming in the Clinton years.
Yeah.
He made a video that was like a very positive review of Donkey Kong Country. But here's how he ended it: was if you don't think this is going to usher, if you aren't getting in on this new era of Donkey Kong madness, you are stupid. That's right. I said it. You're stupid.
I might play Smash with you on stream later, Lewis, if I get through these time trials, because I'm doing this for the playthrough Scrappy and I are doing.
The real time trial is real.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys want to start this?
Yeah,
Like the
because
actual
tested
story.
patience.
I've been ready.
Alright.
Now, when we last left, we had stopped mid-arc we had stopped mid-arc because Bowser Jr. and friends went to school and now they're in trouble, but that's not what Chapter 4 is. Continuing that is not what Chapter 4 is about. This chapter was written in 2012, and it's just a joke chapter in a story that's already doesn't really take itself seriously.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm gonna hold on, I need to drink water. Wow, I do not even sound remotely enthusiastic. Let's go.
Your junior voice ready?
Yeah. That's how I made him sound, right?
Alright, let's go.
All right. This idiotic intermission chapter is called Idiot Intermission.
Alright, let's go.
In the general lobby of Princess Peach's castle, the not-so-merry band of 7, known as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, Bowser Jr., and Toad, had assembled to discuss a matter of national security, the future of the fanfiction. Toad was pacing back and forth, as usual, unable to do anything, as usual. Junior was viewing the pseudo-spectacle with the attention of a fly to rotting fruit. While the other 5 were discussing the possible causes as to why the story's production had suddenly halted. The 5 debated politely, like civilized common folk having a spot of tea. That is to say, they were arguing over it like a pack of kindergartners.
It wasn't a kidnapping. It wasn't a kidnapping. It was a kidnapping. Not it wasn't. Ah, fuck. Hey, Mario. Sorry, I keep disconnecting.
Get yourself stable.
Alright, Mario. It was a kidnapping. That's why.
Luigi contended against Daisy.
That's why he hasn't updated the story. Who is speaking there?
Okay, Tanner.
What?
I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, stop giving him so much credit. Tanner left. We are sorry, folks, for the technical difficulties. It's been more frequent than usual tonight.
It is what it is, I guess.
Alright.
Tanner.
If I can actually read this. If not, do you think we should reschedule the stream or something?
may have to.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's restart. You can take it from the top from Luigi's dialogue.
Alright, I'm just gonna monotone it at this point. That's why he hasn't updated the story.
Oh, stop giving him so much credit. I bet he's on TV tropes reading about cliches no one cares about.
Yoshi,
He said.
what do you think the Scrappy fans doing?
Nothing.
Yoshi, that's a disgusting thing to say.
It was then that Mario spoke. I don't know what happened to the author. What? Everyone exclaimed. It's a dark tale with no happy ending. Long time ago. No, wait, 3 months ago, Mario had decided to go to Scrappy Fan's house to offer him some motivation to finish the next chapter of the Super Mario show. He even brought flowers and chocolate for him. The author's family let him in and told Mario that Scrappy Fan was in his room. Thank you very much, Mario responded to Scrappy Fan's family. He then ascended the stairs to head towards Scrappy Fan's room. The door was closed, but Mario decided to let himself in as a surprise. But when he opened the door, he saw something he could never unsee. Scrappy Fan 92 in bed with Sonic fanfiction. Freaking Sonic fanfiction.
What the hell?
Author noticed Mario, who had caught him red-handed in his act of unfaithfulness. Mario, this isn't what it looks like, the author said rather shakily. Mario dropped the flowers and chocolate and left the house, repeatedly screaming, "The betrayal!" Oh, my throat. After the incident, Mario denounced Scrappy Fan. He also didn't invite him to any of his birthday parties. Soon,
Bastard.
Scrappy Fan fell into a deep depression, and soon no one heard from him again. Story's a load of baloney! Daisy exclaimed.
Mario, did you really denounce the author over Sonic fanfiction?
Asked. I'm never letting that hedgehog steal another Yeah, let me recap that. I'm never letting that hedgehog steal another fan from me.
Did you read your line? Because I tapped out.
Yes, I did. Let me do it one more time. I'm never letting that hedgehog steal another fan from me.
Oy vey. I'm apparently Jewish now.
Luigi moaned.
Luigi moaned Jewishly.
Does anyone have a better... Pardon?
Oh, I didn't know who was saying that. If it's Mario, then go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, maybe I should just stop writing Luigi with the accent. Well, does anyone have a better explanation? Upon being asked this question, Toad stopped pacing, causing Junior to break his own trance, and turned to Mario.
What?
No, you're Toad. I have a better explanation.
I have a better explanation.
What?
It all began in a mother's basement.
Change. Articles on TV tropes. When he decided to go to fanfiction.net to finally continue work on his story. Upon reaching the site, however, he found a new section added to the site. It read Fanfiction Writers. His curiosity getting the better of him, Scrappy Fan clicked on the section and saw that the story at the top of the page was titled The Scrappy Fan 92 Show. The green author raised an eyebrow at the strange title, shrugged it off as a coincidence, and was about to move on to the stories below when he saw the author's name. Toad. Not Toad Fan 92, not Toad the Ninja. just Toad. The Toad. Suddenly look at all the numerous reviews. Over 9,000. Toad's story had
Ha.
achieved.
Very
All of them
funny,
were positive.
Scrappy.
All of them were positive. Scrappy fan felt anger boiling inside as he realized that Toad had used his name and probably his likeness for his own gain. When Scrappy fan started his story, he had asked the Mario Gang for use of their names with the promise that he'd share all positive feedback that came with it. Took his name and expected him to sit back and let it slide. That mushroom-eating, deal-breaking, buffalo wing-dipping, toilet-using bag of scum!
Why are you mad at him
Hours
for
later,
shitting?
at Toad's mom's basement, Toad and the children he hired to work on the Scrappy Fan 92 show were taking a break.
Holy
As Western
shit!
Kingdom labor laws mandated as such.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry. Let me do a reread.
Hello. All right. You all have 5 minutes to work on Chapter 12. Scrappy grows a third eye.
Oh, that is not a. Anyone who's thinking of a dirty joke, screw off right now. It's literally, when I said third eye, I meant it. Children's story, ostensibly.
Penai. Let me see it.
What was about to crack the whip on his child slave/employees when Scrappy Fan 92 himself busted down the basement door with a face that said die. Scrappy Fan began to descend the stairs to the basement floor so he could properly give Toad a piece of his mind. All right, Toad, you've got a lot of nerve to be. Wow! The angry author's tirade was cut short as he tripped over a small child. Did I mention the basement's lighting was terrible?
Silly. Hello. Silly kid.
Snort.
What was our...
Don't lecture me, fungus face. I'd kick your bottom all the way to the parking lot outside for your dumb story. Mr. Toad? One child asked. Oh, wait, I've jumped the line, sorry. I ought to kick your bottom all the way to the parking lot outside for your dumb story.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to.
Story?
Toad ass trying to maintain false innocence.
I have no idea what you're talking about. My Toad is not sounding good today. I sound like a pterodactyl.
Mr. Toad? Mr. Toad? One child asked. How should we begin Chapter 12 of the Scrappy Fan 92 show? Toad turned back to Scrappy Fan and smiled sheepishly. Sorry, Tanner, I couldn't hear that. Could you repeat it?
It cut off for me.
Toad turned back to Scrappy Fan and smiled sheepishly.
Kids, you know, those crazy imaginations.
Scrappy Fan was not amused. You've got 5 seconds to run. Toad skedaddled and quickly ran towards the stairs, but not before tripping over the same luckless kid.
I'm so sorry. I keep fucking disconnecting.
Let me repeat that. Toad skedaddled and quickly ran towards the stairs, but not before tripping over the same luckless kid.
How do you... Oh, would you get out of the way?
Toad screamed as he ran up and fled his house. Scrappy Fan pursued the shady mushroom retainer and chased him down the neighborhood sidewalk. He extended his hands and prepared to catch Toad. He was almost there. Just a few more feet. That is until, out of the blue, a truck came into the neighborhood and made a sharp turn and successfully blocked Scrappy Fan from Toad. Then the truck's window rolled down, revealing another Toad wearing shades.
Get in the
Get in the car, Toad! Toad complied and Toad complied and climbed into the passenger seat as the truck backed up and drove off, leaving Scrappy Fan in the dust and the car exhaust.
See ya, sucker!
Taunted as the truck went off into the sunset. Scrappy Fan just stood on the sidewalk, seething with rage. From that day on, he refused to work on another Mario story again. Toad finished his tall tale to the disgust of his companions. Toad, that was... Excuse me. Toad, that story was an even bigger load of baloney!
Like your guys' stories make...
Jesus, I am not on the ball today.
Like your guys' story makes any more sense?
Make more sense than yours!
Do not!
I do!
Do not!
And I do!
Do not! Watch as I fucking morph into a hawk!
While Junior and Yoshi were conversing, Daisy took notice and, still seething from her argument with Toad, snapped at them, because of course she did. What are you lizards blabbling on about?
Who's talking here? Is that Luigi?
It's Junior.
What?
Junior's line. Yoshi has his own story to tell.
Okay. Is that me?
Yoshi has his own story to tell. Take it away, Egghead.
No, that's Junior. It's Junior's line.
His own story to tell. Take it away, Egghead.
I'm so...
Yoshi. One day, Scrappy Fan was in his room, and then a UFO came and abducted him. The end. Finished his tale and walked away to get a snack. The remaining 6, on the other hand, were now beginning to feel hopeless about ever discovering the true fate of their sort of beloved author.
It's hopeless. We'll never see.
Just run that by one more time, Tanner.
We'll never see or hear his...
Hey, guys.
Oh, god damn it, that annoying voice! We'll never hear it again for the rest of our lives. Wait a minute.
The 6 looked at the source of the... The 6 looked at the source of the voice, eyes wide open. Yoshi came back into the lobby with a cupcake, and his eyes grew wide at the sight of the person they'd been looking for. Standing tall, his flawless face, bulging muscles, and gorgeous hair, was the one, the only, the falsely described Scrappy Fan 92!
Fan 92!
Everyone cheered. You guys miss me? No, at least I missed your writing. Where were you, paisano? Admit I had a brief hiatus, Scrappy Fan said. Yeah, right! Daisy yelled. Oh, gosh. 2.5 years does a brief hiatus not make, jerkface. Okay, I can see you're all annoyed, and I'm sorry for that. But don't worry, I'll make it up to you today. Right after I read some TV tropes.
You
And with that, the author ran off to shun his responsibilities again, leaving the Mario gang with their jaws hanging open.
We're not getting a new chapter for another 2 years, are we?
Asked. I said I was sorry! Came the author's voice from the distance. And Peach is wrong. We didn't get another chapter for another 10.5 years. Yay!
That was interesting.
I was a lot prouder of this when I wrote it in 2012.
There are some gags that are still genuinely funny. That being said, some of the comedy is a little weak, but I totally get what you were going for. And
This was just...
What?
Sorry, go on.
And I feel like if you wrote this now, at a current age with some improvements, because obviously your sense of humor develops with age. If you just did that, then yeah, I could see this being pretty funny because I like the really goofy tone it's going for. I like a lot of the goofy meta humor. You know, I like that stuff. Uh, so if it were just a bit more clever about it, then uh, a lot of this could work. Because the aliens gag, for instance, just the one time aliens came down, they abducted Scrappy. The end, and then just walked away. That was really funny.
That seems to be Harry's favorite moment of this chapter.
Uh,
Yeah, that I love that bit. It's great. It's just the
like
aliens
ugly
came.
barnacle.
They
It feels
abducted
like
Scrappy.
it gives me the same vibes as like the ugly barnacle.
Thank you. That is the highest honor I could ever receive.
Yeah. Uh, and I feel like honestly, I feel like what you could do, and this is what I often do with Deadpool, is I'll go back and rewrite jokes. So sometimes a joke will sound funny the first time I do it, and then I'm like, ah, no, this sucks. And then I'll go back, I'll rewrite it until I do think it's funny.
That's a recurring thing with my chapters. Obviously, you can tell they don't really get extra drafts until after they're published.
Yeah.
This is the only chapter that I wrote in one day and then it was published.
Uh, yeah, that's not,
It's against policy by fanfiction.net. Hot off the press chapters are not looked upon fondly.
yeah, you should probably work on that just a bit because, uh, if you really want to make, especially with comedy, because comedy basically requires punching up. I can't think of anyone who has ever immediately written amazing jokes on the first draft unless you're like the world's greatest comedian. Unless you have, you know, the blood of the comedy gods flowing through you. I have never met anyone who is capable of that.
Okay, Nova.
Eh,
Any thoughts for this chapter?
not really, other than you've. I, I suppose you have definitely improved, considering the way that you write and talk, compared to how you used to write and talk before. I definitely see improvement.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Actually made the effort to update this at least yearly, maybe I would have actually seen success with the story.
I would agree with what they've said, and also I just enjoyed the fourth wall breaking nature of this episode. It was pretty fun.
If you wanted to, you could try rebooting this concept if you wanted to, with some improvement that you've obviously gone under, because like for all I knock, I am a big supporter of fan projects. Hell, I'm making one. And sometimes rebooting a concept is the best thing you can do, especially when you're young and you're an idiot and you don't know how to make things. Uh, like me. I've had projects that I've had to reboot. And if you wanted to do that, you could. Or if you just wanted to slowly continue it from where it was, you know, do whatever. I'm just saying, there's no hesitation. There's no reason you can't go back on this concept.
Like I have no idea what I'm doing after chapter 5 if I ever continue this. Like I feel a lot happier now that I actually, finished the arc from chapter 3
Oh,
now.
Again, you could easily reboot it with a similar concept but more refined.
That's what Chapter 5 is, a Mario show, but with better writing just by virtue of it being written now.
Uh-huh.
Though, like the meta chapter, the one meta chapter I did for this was pretty fun to write.
Oh, that was
And
fun. Granted, not every joke lands for me. Like 9,000.
Yeah, and every joke hits me well either now. Like this is funnier in 2012 when I was just writing it in a bout of divine inspiration.
Yeah, no, I've written Deadpool jokes that I've had to take out. I have to take out a fucking Scorsese joke that I wrote, and it was really funny, and now I have to take it out. But honestly, it's probably better that I...
Condolences.
What?
Condolences.
Yeah. The joke was... Because you know how everybody that... I'm taking out because this controversy is barely talked about anymore. But remember when everybody, like, lost their shit because Martin Scorsese said he didn't like Marvel movies?
Uh-huh.
I was doing a joke making fun of that because I thought it was stupid. Like, why do you care so much that that a director doesn't like them? If anything, it's such an apples to oranges comparison anyway. Like, of course Scorsese wouldn't like Marvel movies. They're nothing like what he makes. I don't know what anyone was expecting.
It's neither here nor there. Speaking of validation, I hope you like Chapter 5, Pizza Teach, Part 2.
Alright.
Remember how I had so much fun writing the meta chapter? Well, yeah, we're back into boring plot.
Alright, are we reading that now?
Yes.
Alright, let's go.
Alright,
Like,
since we had to jump around, I will also read the previously on segment. Previously on the Super Mario show. Principal Coopson. Would you like a job here, Peach?
I'll do it.
Bowser Jr.
oh shit, there's a fucking stink bug in my house. That's what he says, that's the line.
Time out. There we go. Screen switches to Daisy and Peach's castle as Peach, Jr., and Yoshi depart. Daisy. Well, this can't possibly go wrong. Screen switches to courtyard of Stroomside. Grayson. And make sure you take out anyone who's associated with Mario and Luigi. And I apologize if this is not coming through for anyone listening on playback. Bowser Jr.
It's the end of the world.
And previously on segment. Episode begins proper. Bowser Jr. stood panting at the revelation he had been witness to. His parental unit was in danger. Some upstart in a mask was going to ruin an already ruined day. The local sports team failed to make it to the playoffs. The young Koopa Prince fell to his knees in despair.
All is lost!
Bellowed.
What are you talking about, Junior?
Asked. Junior flinched, not noticing that she had been behind him. He immediately sprung to his feet.
Peach, you're in danger. That demon
Junior motioned with his right arm to Jenny.
is going to destroy you and me and the green guy.
Peach glanced at Jenny, playing hopscotch and giggling, and the princess smiled.
Aww, she looks so precious.
Don't let that mask fool you. She's a trained assassin dispatched by an evil mastermind.
Gee.
Yes, Yoshi. Exactly like I was at. I mean, no, not like.
Sorry, Tanner.
And
I couldn't hear you after not like me.
yeah. Wait. Yo. All right. Yeah, Yoshi. Yes, Yoshi. Exactly like I was. Well, I mean, no. Not like me. I'm charismatically devious. She's just gonna ruin your day.
And that makes her worse than you. Why?
Oh. Because she's gonna wind up ruining my day too.
Each side and clasped her hands.
You,
I understand. I think I know what's going on with me.
you trust my villain's intuition so we can go home?
Oh, silly. You're just anxious about your first day of school and afraid you won't make any new friends.
Said with an authentic chuckle. Junior screeched and raised his arm to protest, but his would-be hour-long screed that would inevitably detour into a lesson on the economic solvency of the Bean Bean Kingdom was cut off by the school's bell. Perked up and clasped her hands again.
Oh, joy! It's time for school! Come along, children!
Young students and Yoshi filed behind Peach, eager to start the mask with their new instructor, eager to start the day with their new instructor. Jenny filed last, staring at a still dumbfounded Junior. She swapped out her smiley face mask for an angry mask akin to the bandits. See you in class, pal. And with a giggle, she swapped back to her original mask and followed behind the other children into the school. Junior remained motionless. Excuse me. Junior remained motionless, terrified as a school custodian passed by, sweeping up chalk drawings. Whew. I hate to be you today, kid. You wait. You look like you're in for the most awful day of your life. I mean, absolutely awful. The Hammer Brother, or Broom Brother, said as he continued sweeping.
No, I don't think I am.
He replied with a sudden sneer of determination.
If I
Repeat that again. Sorry, I think you cut out.
if I'm gonna be stuck in the school of hard knocks, then I'm delivering hard knocks to the school's greatest threat.
Custodian just turned his head quizzically. Dude, you sound like an anime villain. Just a moment. Harry, could you hear Tanner's dialogue, or did it not appear on
I'll
stream?
do it again.
I just heard complete silence there.
Shut up! I'm the hero! And I'll prove it by saving this school. If I don't get bored first.
Oh man, I love that line. And
Yeah.
Junior dashed. Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Junior dashed forward into the school, beginning the process of formulating a plan to stop Jenny and save said school. If he didn't get bored first. Hearing a background noise on my part because my door's slightly ajar.
I'm gonna pass out. Why am I so tired?
I close my door. Apologize again to the audience for all of this.
Uh-huh.
Oh. I don't think those.
Okay, I am back. Sorry, Nova, I couldn't hear you. Could you start again?
I hadn't even started, but yeah,
Okay.
let's start over.
Alright, class, let's discuss basic traffic signals in Tow Town.
Motion to a group of blackboard images with her teaching pointer. Junior had situated himself into a desk in a humble-looking classroom. Junior had situated himself into a desk in a humble-looking classroom some time ago and was already losing focus. He leaned over to another student.
I don't think those glasses she's wearing are actually hers.
His hand shot up immediately after.
Nova?
I couldn't hear Scrappy.
Apologies. Jenny's hand shot up immediately after.
Yes, Jenny?
Peach, Junior's asking another student for answers to next week's test. Junior scoffed and bristled at the accusation. Enter.
Alright, we're calling it off after this chapter. This is getting ridiculous.
The only chapter left.
Alright. Alright.
Junior scoffed and bristled at the accusation.
That is preposterous! I already asked.
That was good.
Yes, Tim in the bathroom.
Junior, I've only been on the job for 10 minutes. I'm fairly certain asking for answers is against the rules. You lose a gold star for today.
Junior snarled at Jenny, who of course maintained a perfect smile through her mask.
What a bitch.
Peach adjusted her glasses and turned to resume the lesson. Junior quickly scribbled onto a piece of paper and handed the paper to one of the students.
No, Junior, you idiot. She's gonna accuse you of...
Alright. Pass this to Yoshi.
Student passed a note on to another student. Pass this to Yoshi. Oh, my throat. The other student passed a note on to Jenny. Pass this to Yoshi.
Oh, I was gonna make it sound like Bane.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
But instead of passing the note, she ducked underneath her desk and read the note for herself. Dear Yoshi, I hope you are doing well. Class has been fun. And Jenny, continue reading this note while Yoshi raids your backpack, you Class A sucker!
Oh, shit!
He crawled out from under her desk to discover that Yoshi had indeed nabbed the contents of her book bag with his tongue. What the heck? Ugh, Jenny thought. Yoshi then motioned for her to turn the note over, which she did. This note will now self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. The note spontaneously combusted and covered Jenny's mask with ash right as the bell rang for dismissal.
Holy shit, he just put explosives in this fucking school. People are gonna see the ashes of whatever this place is called and think there's a school that could self-destructed, not because society didn't care, but because that school...
The school what? Good thing we're taking a hiatus after this episode.
What the actual shit?
The note spontaneously combusted right as the bell rang for dismissal. Peach tossed her pointer through a glass window, which knocked out the custodian, and began erasing the blackboard.
Oh, it just, of course it gets violent. It always gets violent in this series.
Alright, class, time for gym. Today's dodgeball day.
Peach is an
Let's do.
idiot in this.
Just say Tanner.
Peach is an idiot in this.
She is just very oblivious.
Nah, she's a fucking dumb blonde.
Moving on. All students filed out of the door. Among the chatter, Bowser Jr. turned to stick his tongue out at Jenny, who was coughing from the explosion. Laugh it up, redhead, Jenny said between violent, soot-filled hacks. But the gym will be your gravesite. The gymnasium, all of the students of Peach's class stood in two lines on opposite ends of the room. Peach herself standing in the center holding a single dodgeball.
Gym class, where children enter to become fierce warriors in the arena of mutual competition.
Peach mused.
Or nothing is more important than having fun with your peers.
Destroying your opponent's will to fight, Jenny muttered under her breath.
What now?
Peach asked. I said I love your shoes, Miss Peach, Jenny uttered with a twirl. Junior rolled his eyes.
What a schmoozer. What a schmoozer. Hey, Yoshi, did you nab out all of her stuff?
She nodded and pulled out a list of the items he had swallowed. Rather taken.
All right. You got some pencils, crayon box, dash pepper, one over there apple, and some sliced ham. I expected her to have something actually, dangerous.
She listened to Junior go on and on, and on and on, but something caught his eye. A mushroom simply shuffling across the, thankfully recently cleaned, gym floor.
Good God.
Had already opened his mouth to retrieve the tasty morsel.
No, don't, that's a mini mush!
One gulp and a high-pitched power-up jingle later, and Junior had to bend over to find his now downsized friend. Jenny waved from the other side of the gym.
I hate her.
That was a little faint. Tanner, could you repeat that?
I hate her so much.
Thank you. Also, note that apparently I implied Yoshi swallowed all of Jenny's stuff. That's a continuity error for what happens later.
Also,
Why you actually read through your drafts, kids. Learn from me.
oh yes. There's also why the hell. Also, so apparently the sound effects exist in universe. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the old Mario cartoons worked.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Had continued discussing the long history of dodgeball without even noticing that one of the players had effectively been removed.
You dumb bitch.
Be nice. None of Junior's classmates could inform her of Yoshi's situation due to being so bored of her lecture that they fell into a stupor.
Any and all players, regardless of size or species, are eligible, which is what makes dodgeball one of the greatest sports. Before we begin playing, any questions?
Junior waved frantically to get Peach's attention, but Jenny spoke up first. Miss Peach, I think Yoshi went to the bathroom. Is it okay if I sit the game out until he comes back?
Wait, what? Where's the logic in that?
It'd be best if we wait.
Saw him eat 5 donuts on the way to the gym. I don't think he'll be back for a while.
Wait.
Well, you think Yellow should be better then?
What?
Miss you, Tanner.
I I don't see the logic in that. Why would Yoshi being in the bathroom affect anything?
If one team member of one side is missing, then they can't have an uneven game.
Okay.
Before Junior could even go on an hour-long screed that would inevitably detour into an explanation on the agricultural practices of Isle Delfino and how its native inhabitants fought off the local fauna, Peach tossed her dodgeball into a basket of double cherries and blew the whistle to commence the game.
So does it like clone
The
the ball?
dodgeball making contact with a single double cherry duplicated it, and then two dodgeballs made contact with the power-up and duplicated into 4, and 8, and so on. Soon, half of the gym was filled with spherical weapons of doom, and a mad scramble from both sides to procure a ball and strike the opposing team's members began. Junior looked around for a nurse student on his side to help him, but the first one closest to him was immediately hit in the stomach with a dodgeball. "Tell my mother I love her!" the Monty Mole Child said before collapsing. Junior looked behind and saw 2 more of his classmates had been picked off by Jenny's team. He gazed to his left and pondered running to Peach to pause the game, but then she was hit with a dodgeball and sent into the bleachers. He gazed to his right and saw Yoshi scurrying to avoid being crushed by any dodgeballs that were bouncing freely.
Is that me or?
Yes, it's all right. My teammate says Junior.
All right, my teammates are useless. The teacher's knocked out, and Yoshi's in danger of. In danger of. In danger.
Sorry, Tanner, you cut out again.
All right, just start from
The second in danger.
Okay, in danger of. In danger. For Pete's sake, Yoshi, just eat the dodgeball!
She froze in place mid-run as the revelation hit him. He shrugged and opened his tiny mouth to extend his tongue and swallow a ball tossed in his vicinity. Yoshi's head immediately ballooned while trying to swallow the much larger object, but he succeeded. Junior grinned.
Great. Now we can.
He's cut off by a dodgeball thrown over him that grazed his hair. Miss Peach, does hair contact qualify as elimination? Jenny asked. Peach raised a hand from the wrecked bleachers.
Hair contact does not count.
Her hand fell as she passed out.
Technicalities can't save you now, you walking drama mask, you!
Caught the next dodgeball tossed at him and did an underhand toss that bounced off the floor and hit one of Jenny's teammates in the chin.
For the Horde!
Here bellowed as he grabbed more of the idle dodgeballs on his side. Those that weren't getting picked off, getting eaten by Yoshi, that is, and began tossing them rapidly at Jenny's team. A deluge of dodgeballs hit every member on the other side, sans Jenny herself.
You'll never escape.
As he tossed his final dodgeball, Jenny grabbed one of the dodgeballs that had felled her comrades and held it out to deflect the one tossed at her and send it flying back to Junior.
Ah!
Junior screamed and jumped back to avoid getting hit, but lost his balance and fell on his back shell. Meanwhile, Yoshi took the opportunity to eat the ball that Junior had narrowly dodged, growing back to his original size. He yelped out of joy and stuck his arms out in the air, and then got hit in the nose with a ball tossed by Jenny. He was flailing his limbs, unable to regain his footing due to a shell weighing him down. His vision was obscured, but he could make out a pink figure walking past the gym's dividing line to meet him personally. Jenny stood over him holding a dodgeball, her mask a dissonant symbol of happiness as she plotted academic revenge.
My, how the tables turn!
Have mercy.
I would, but you heard the teacher. Air contact just isn't enough to eliminate you.
And so she spiked the ball directly at Junior's face. Junior's vision had gone hazy at that point, and all he could make out were the voices of Yoshi panicking and Jenny laughing before she said,
Miss Peach, Junior hurt himself and he needs medical attention.
Scene transition. High above the skies of the Mushroom Kingdom, one of Bowser's auxiliary airships was flying through a nearby forest. The airship had to be deployed because Bowser... What did you say, Tanner?
Okay, apparently he's here now.
Will be
Why
coming
the
soon.
fuck not?
Hi, did I miss the party?
It's the Mario Party. Let's see.
I'm
One of Bowser's auxiliary airships was flying through a nearby forest. One of Bowser's auxiliary airships was flying through a nearby forest. The airship had to be deployed because Bowser had let Iggy pilot the clown car before the poor boy crashed it into a nearby volcano. Bowser, Iggy, and Kamek were the only passengers aboard, and their discussion was of the utmost urgency.
Iggy is dead!
To say, Tanner?
Iggy's dead!
Oh, Iggy's fine. He's fine.
No!
And their discussion was of
he's dead. He crashed into a volcano. He's dead. 100% deado.
Bowser survived the lava before he's totally fine.
That's true.
Their discussion was of the utmost urgency. Alright, let me try my Bowser voice. Okay. So 2 consoles have been released since the last chapter, Bowser said. Yes, sire, and the second of the 2 is also a handheld with detachable controllers, Kamek continued. They can drift a lot, and to be perfectly frank, Iggy said while steering the airship from the control room. Okay, so what's this platoon thing I keep hearing about? Bowser asked. Kamek replied, You take bloopers, right? Yeah. And you dip them in that magic goo that we spread around Isle Delfino, okay? Yeah. And you give them the power to shift to 2-legged forms that shoot paint out of toy guns. So they're both kids and squids. Precisely, sire. Do the kids or squids know how to swim? Think, sire. Gross! Iggy yelled out from the control room. He opened his eyes to find himself on a bed in the school infirmary. He looked over to find Yoshi and several other students sitting on chairs holding ice packs over their afflicted body parts.
What happened?
You're asked. Peach came into the infirmary, also holding an ice pack over her head.
Oh, Junior, thank goodness you're awake. I'm so sorry. Things got out of hand and I blacked out. Jenny said you tossed a ball at me by mistake, and in the confusion, you got hit and fell on your shell.
That is admittedly half true.
Well, I forgive you.
No, I didn't mean to throw anything ew. Also, Yoshi didn't go to the bathroom.
One kid icing his left shoulder interjected. Yeah, he went to the bathroom on the gym floor after he took a dodgeball to the face.
You were passed out, genius. For all you know, he did it before.
Before he took a dodgeball to the face.
Yoshi!
Okay, enough. Clearly you're missing some things. Junior, Yoshi, what happened?
Jenny is a demon. She gave a mini mushroom to Yoshi, and she definitely crossed the gym line to hit me right in the face with a dodgeball.
Declared. The school nurse who was looking through the school's medical records shook her head as she paged through the book of records. If I hear or read the word dodgeball one more time today, I'm going to take a chainsaw to someone's desk.
Good lord, have no
Your
chill.
temples inside. What'd you say, Harry?
There's no chill.
He who hath no
No one has
chill.
chill in this story.
Good lord.
No, everyone is psychotic. We've established this.
Just rub their temples inside.
Alright, I believe you. But we have no proof.
Peter jumped to his feet.
All right. Leave that to me.
Dead.
Yeah.
Half an hour later, Peach and her students had regathered in homeroom for the second to last class of the day. Peach had donned a lab coat over her dress and was writing out science class in all capital letters on the blackboard.
She specifically dressed for that. Honestly, she went the fucking extra mile. Bravo.
Fortunately, her hand slipped as she began writing out the N, and the chalk screeched against the board diagonally. My ears! Tell my wife I love her! One presumably adult Goomba student said as he... Wait,
Yeah, honestly, it's funnier to imagine. That's a good gag and kind of a surreal, like, the fact that it doesn't make sense is kind of why it's funny.
My ears! Tell my wife I love her! One Goomba student said as she jumped through the first floor window to the safety of the playground.
What? I couldn't hear you over the incessant screaming of an outdated academic display tool.
Junior replied, his hands clasped around the sides of his head because I don't think he has ears. He resumed writing on the blackboard, the sound of chalk to board growing more diabolical as the chalk ran out. Peach herself was growing disconcerted with the noise, but powered through.
This was your master plan to get rid of Jenny? Everyone else in this class would be gone before her.
She muttered under her breath. Not that she'd need to, due to the aforementioned sound of chalk drowning out everything else. Yoshi! No, Yoshi, Jenny said while sitting at her desk contentedly. I'm just fine. Junior snarled and began muttering to himself.
Wrap it up, Jenny. But teachers' pets crack eventually.
She continued her writing, replacing her sanded down piece of chalk with a replenished one, her eyes tearing up as she continued to subject herself and her students to the screeching.
Oh gosh, will somebody please stop this?
She thought. Meanwhile, within the airspace of Shroomside, a moderately sized airship was fast approaching, with Bowser on board. The Koopa King folded his arms at the sight of the Academy. This is so much roomier than my clown car. I can't believe we almost went through the invasion without it. Iggy, prepare for landing here. Yes, King Dad. Wait, what's that? What's what? Kamek asked. It's a frequency our senses are picking up. It's overloading our systems. Consider taking a blunt object and applying meticulous force to the computer systems at regular intervals. Kamek asked. I haven't, Iggy said as he grabbed Kamek and used him as a bludgeon against the ship's main console 3 times. Snarled. Iggy, you dolt! You gotta put your back into it, Bowser said as he snatched Kamek away from him and swung him down 3 more times into the console, this time with an overhead technique. After the impromptu thrashing, Kamek adjusted his cracked glasses. I hate my life. Did it work? No, No, Dad, the frequency's still coming through. It's frying the main computer circuit boards. The pilot room were indeed beginning to spark, black smoke emerging from under the panels. The airship would soon begin to lose altitude while also picking up speed. Bowser, Iggy, and Kamek viewed the main screen of the pilot room to see that they were heading on a collision course with Shroomside itself. Bowser suddenly donned a bubble pipe and a yacht club owner's hat. Gentlemen, it has been an honor. In Peach's classroom, she was barely able to even write out another word on the board. She let out a huff and slumped against the blackboard in defeat.
Junior, I'm sorry, but I can't do. Junior, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore.
What?
This has just been a day of awards and abuses and hardly any learning.
What?
And honestly, I don't think I even have a license to teach science.
Peach's lamentations were not only drowned out by the temporary loss of hearing by her students from the chalk, but also the steadily growing sound of engines heading directly toward her school. Peach looked to the window and jumped.
Mamma mia, whoever's saying that.
That's Peach. Oh gosh, Nova dropped. Hi, Nova.
Honestly, though, this is a little bit better. This is getting slowly
Anyway.
better.
A chapter or the audio quality?
Yeah, no, this is whoever's. If you have to edit this stream, I'm sorry. This is just a train wreck.
Okay, I've been adding dialogue when it blanks out to the comment sections. Harry knows this, and
All right.
he knows what I'm about.
All right, yeah.
Peach's lamentations were not only drowned out by the temporary loss of hearing by her students from the chalk, but also the steadily growing sound of engines heading directly toward her school. Peach looked to the window and jumped.
Mamma mia!
Peach ducked for cover as an airship crashed through the windows, half lodged into the classroom itself. Groaned as Bowser pried it open from the inside with his claws. Bowser muttered dizzily as he stumbled out of the wreckage and onto the class floor proper. We've come to save you.
Piss.
Huh?
Is he dead again? Anyway, if you want to rate the quality of this stream, I have a rate my stream site where you can rate the quality of this stream.
Rated 2009 Scrappy writing out of 10.
Hell yeah. The best possible writing.
Let me read through that again, Nova, for you. Was it? Let's see. Junior, Bowser muttered dizzily as he stumbled out of the wreckage and onto the class floor proper. We've come to save you.
Oh, for Pete's sake! I don't need you today!
Said while attempting to shoo Bowser away. Bowser's just... Sorry, what'd you say, Tanner?
I didn't say anything.
Bowser's disoriented gaze turned to that of pure derision. You, he said, pointing a claw at Peach. This is your fault. Taking my own son from me.
I saved him from a dungeon!
You saved him from the only home. You saved him from the only home he'd ever known. You want a kid? Adopt them like I did with Iggy. A weak Sup slithered out of the wreckage of the airship, but with no Iggy in sight for the denizens of the classroom. Peach and Bowser continued arguing over parenting styles, unaware that Jenny had left her desk and was trying to sneak over to the fire alarm. She flinched upon
Oh,
feeling a
this
sudden
bitch.
thump. She flinched upon feeling a sudden thump on the back of her head. A giant a giant novelty eraser landed on the ground beside her, and Jenny turned to see Junior brandishing another one while standing on a desk.
Going somewhere. Going somewhere. Oh, hold on. Let me get it. Going somewhere, Jeneth?
Junior asked. Just trying to defuse the situation here.
Oh, what a lovely endeavor. I support you fully.
Junior said with a mock courteous tone as he walked. Excuse me. Junior said with a mock courteous tone as he turned to walk over to his backpack lying on the ground. Junior rummaged through the pack, looking through his contraband for a useful item. He tossed out the dash pepper and it sailed over Yoshi's head. Yoshi raised his head and extended his tongue to catch the errant fruit and swallowed it whole. Yoshi smiled and felt content. And then his pupils dilated. Meanwhile, at Peach's castle, the Mario brothers, Daisy and Toad, were watching a nature documentary on TV. Okay, so the dash pepper isn't an indigenous fruit of the Mushroom Kingdom, Daisy inquired. No, it's not grown here normally, Mario replied. Luigi interjected, holding a flashlight under his face for dramatic effect.
Any mortal who eats it will feel their motor functions enhanced by the intergalactic powers of the dash pepper.
If they survive.
Hopefully the effects will wear off after a shorter time, Mario added. Just don't use it in a confined spaces. In the meantime, Yoshi's eyes were watering at the intense heat he had just consumed, and he could feel that same heat not dissipating, but rising. His skin began changing, going from its usual green tone to a blazing red-orange. Junior could feel a sudden temperature increase in his vicinity and turned to see his friend undergoing a sudden change. Teacher, one of your students is about to spontaneously combust, a blooper child said. Peach and Bowser were too busy arguing to pay any notice. Junior thought it would be for the best if he left before the carnage began and attempted to open the door, but he found that it was too late as Yoshi let out a scream of pain that snapped every remaining ignorant combatant and spectator in the classroom out of their ignorance. The dash pepper had taken full effect, and Yoshi was merely going along for the ride. Yoshi dashed towards Junior at a speed that would make Cooper the Quick blush, and the young ex-tyrant could do little but retreat into a shell and take the brunt of the impact.
I hated Koopa the
Yoshi
Quick.
narrowly avoided the spikes on Junior's shell through a sharp turn and was now headed for Peach and Bowser, leaving Yoshi to steamroll Bowser instead. Not content with simple horizontal movement, Yoshi began running up the walls, leaving a trail of fire behind him. The flames closest to Peach's desk flickered near her chemistry set and set the The flames closest to Peach's desk flickered near her chemistry set and set the multitude of chemicals ablaze. Peach raised her head from the floor to see several of her test tubes and beakers glowing and violently shaking, their contents overflowing from the heat.
No.
Oh, this has not been my day.
The smallest beaker exploded and causes the container next to it to explode as well, setting off a chain reaction that sent a host of rainbow-colored smoke clouds into the air as if it were some kind of perverse fireworks display. Kamek peeked his head out from the airship and noticed the carnage unfolding. Prince Iggy, I believe it's time we go. And he levitated the unconscious Bowser from the floor with a wave of his wand and ushered him out of a window. Kamek and Iggy exited the airship and left outside to find a getaway vehicle. Look, Kamek! Iggy said, pointing at a car whose driver, a green Shy Guy, had just exited. I sure do hope Jenny took care of those cretins, the Shy Guy exclaimed. Iggy pushed him out of the way and took his car keys as he and Kamek entered the car, and Kamek ceased his magic to drop Bowser's body on the roof. What the Shy Guy exclaimed. We commandeered this vehicle in the name of the Koopa Kingdom. We thank you for your involuntary cooperation, Iggy said. To leave the school grounds and proceeded to back up into a fire hydrant. The car went forward and turned, and proceeded to bang itself against a lamppost. Finally, the car reversed, oriented itself toward the exit, and drove off into the forest. Harry, is my audio still good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the classroom, the chemicals were continuing their combustion while Yoshi sprinted around the room. Junior peered out of his shell and surveyed the situation. Peach had gone to a corner of the room to rock back and forth in the fetal position. All of the students sans Jenny had jumped out the window to the safety of the courtyard, and a half-wrecked airship was still lodged into the classroom with no pilot in sight. Junior fully retreated from his shell and returned to his feet.
Yeah, this went off the rails.
Ah! Yoshi screamed as he zoomed past Junior and collided into the blackboard. Excuse me. Yoshi screamed as he zoomed past Junior and collided into the blackboard nose first. The speed finally lessened over time.
Well, it's been nice, but I think I'll be leaving now.
Junior concluded as he pried Yoshi from the blackboard and grabbed Peach's hand to escort her out the window. Jenny could barely muster her thoughts at this turn of events. You just up and leaving? Our showdown is not over, mister!
Yeah, it is.
What grounds?
On the grounds that I got bored and I want to watch TV. Smell ya.
He jumped out to the courtyard, leaving Jenny alone. Jenny was incredulous, furious even, but she realized that she was the last one standing. Two of her foes would be too traumatized to return to Shroomside, and the other would gladly accept expulsion to never set foot here again. I got rid of them! Jenny exclaimed to herself. I can't wait to tell Daddy that I did it all single-handedly. All of this! She motioned with her stubby arms. This is all me! Well, it's nice to have a confession, said an unknown voice. Jenny tensed and turned her head behind her to see Principal Coopson, who had just opened the door to see a room that had been made into a war zone. Ah, crud! Jenny, as punishment for this, you'll be in charge of polishing every single dodgeball in the gym for the rest of the month. And I mean every single dodgeball. Principal Coopson finished delegating Jenny's punishment just as a school nurse had passed by, suddenly tensing at the mention of the word dodgeball. She let out a warrior cry and ran for Coopson's office. Pulling out a chainsaw, she laughed maniacally. Coopson's eyes bulged out as he ran for his office. Not my super Bill Mahogany! Bowser Jr., Peach, and Yoshi informed the others in the living room of what had transpired.
We barely made it out alive.
Peter declared.
To be perfectly honest, I'd be surprised if your first day at school didn't end with chemical arson. Millions are dead. Millions are dead, and this blood is on your hands, Junior.
Toad chirped.
Toad, I'm the only one. I'm only going to say this once, but I've missed your screechy voice.
That is funny on a meta level. Because this is actually just what Scrappy says about my Toad voice.
Junior said.
I can't believe my first day as a teacher will probably be my last day.
Peach said, her chin on palms. Junior winced at the consequences of his impromptu victory.
Well, at least that's one day you got to spend with your subjects. We've all learned a valuable lesson.
Junior said.
We've literally learned nothing.
retorted. Junior raised a hand to argue, but silently nodded in agreement.
Okay, but if I had to learn nothing from you, I'm glad I also learned nothing with you.
My junior voice is slowly slipping.
Don't have to do it anymore. Peach flashed a small smile.
Thank you, Junior. I think.
Meanwhile, in the forest, Iggy and Kamek's getaway car was losing speed due to lack of gas. The road was also getting bumpier due to the roots. The car ran over a root and jumped, knocking Bowser off the roof. Hey, Kamek, do you feel like we just got lighter? Kamek looked at the rearview mirror to see his employer passed out on the dirt ground. He adjusted the mirror and shrugged at Iggy. Nope. Well, I hope we get home soon. Morton and Lemmy need me to referee their dodgeball game tonight. Suddenly, the nurse appeared from out of a thicket, chainsaw in tow. She jammed the blade into the front of the car, evoking screams from Iggy and Kamek. Why does this always happen to me? Kamek said ruefully. End chapter.
So this is definitely an improvement. That being said, I still see problems, but it's getting there. This seems like a standard like children's cartoon plot.
That's what it's going for, though.
Uh-huh. Which is both good but also bad, because here's the thing with these children's, this is just maybe personal thing, but I fucking hate like Angelica type characters. So I was just kind of angry throughout this whole thing. Fuck Angelica, she was a bitch. Yeah, and they let her win half the time.
I've seen more Rugrats episodes than most of my peers. I can definitely remember Angelica usually got her comeuppance.
Okay,
And,
I don't remember. I'm sorry, I haven't seen Rugrats in a while, but I fucking hate Angelica regardless. The
sorry you
best
feel
thing,
that way.
the best thing that came out of the best thing that came out of Angelica was her forcing Stu to make chocolate pudding at 4 a.m. because
One's
that,
favorite episode.
yes. Uh, that was. It definitely does have a better sense of quality, even though it's a type of plot I don't like. I also would have preferred if Jenny had more of a comeuppance, because even when she does get punished by the principal, she still winds up scaring him off. But that's just me. Because, once again, that's my bias talking. Because I hate these kind of characters. I've hated them since I was a kid, and
Cut out a bit. Can you repeat that last part?
I've hated them since I was a kid, and I hated them, and I hate them now. The only character of this type that I've kind of liked is, well, no, DW really isn't that type. She's just more of an annoying little sister, and that's only because her lines are funny. At least my head doesn't look like a football. Uh,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was an improvement.
yeah. And honestly, the only thing I would say is that even if you're a children's cartoon type thing, try to, well, one, the best children's cartoons I feel are the ones that are not written exclusively for children.
Oh yeah.
And two, I'd recommend trying to get more creative with the plots, like doing something like that no other children's cartoon has done, because anyone can do, like, let's do the what's a good example? Let's do the picture day episode. Let's
Oh
do
right,
the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And let's do the. And I generally feel like if you really want to have fun and make this stand out, you should really do stuff like. But my biggest recommendation is the best stuff is kind of when it goes crazy. Do something that nobody's ever done before. Think of, and I'm not saying everything has to be completely 100% original. You know, original does not always mean good.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
And subversion doesn't automatically make your story good, Mr. Ryan Johnson.
Knew you were gonna say that.
You knew it!
Not relitigating this right now.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But you no, you could do some really interesting stuff. And even if you do the plots that have been done before, you could do them in a very unique and interesting way. Or hell, even parody them.
Hmm.
You've already got this meta humor thing going. You could parody like standard cartoon plots that have been done before. What if or you or you I don't know, like what's weird is a good example is say what you will about Pony MLP. If there's one thing it usually pulls off very well, it's taking very standard children's cartoon plots but still finding a way to make their version of it unique and entertaining.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Like, some of the morals are very basic morals for children, but they manage to do it in a fun and entertaining way, usually.
Mhm. Yeah, there are
And
some stinkers in there, but
oh, there are definitely some. Uh, Especially season one.
oh yeah.
I think that's just because Faust, I sound so autistic right now, but I think that's just because
Uh,
Faust has her strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
And one of her weaknesses, I feel, is she has an inability to really convey an idea with nuance.
Hmm.
So I feel like once she, and I'm not disrespecting Lauren Faust at all, but I feel like as other writers came in and refined her initial concepts and and basically improved upon them, the show got better.
Hmm.
Because when Lauren Faust is just running on her own with a very limited team of writers, you can really see her weak spots.
Yeah.
And once all respect to her for creating this show, for actually trying to make something of quality out of, you know, what is essentially a toy commercial. Um, like, I want to make it clear, I'm not shitting on her. I'm just saying. Uh, all right, this is. If you want to hear more about me, more of me rambling about baby shows, watch my podcast. Tanner rambles about baby shows. That's not a real podcast. Don't look it up unless you want it to be.
I mean, that's up to you if you want to make that.
Uh, but no, Scrappy, I can see improvements. Oh god, that puke.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in how you'll improve if you decide to make more of these. Oh, thank God.
any thoughts, Novo?
But yeah, well, I definitely feel like I definitely see a large improvement over your previous other chapters. I definitely see you can maintain a more consistent tone. Your humor's more on point. Oh, I mean, it's still room for improvement, but it's more on point. Your flow's more consistent. Uh, you know how to word your sentences better. you don't ramble on as long, and yeah, I feel like it's definitely been, I'd say, like a 50% improvement.
I'd
Yeah,
say the comedy definitely comes off as less forced too.
it feels like this could be something on, like, it feels like it could be a like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I could see once again you could very well make this kind of like Sonic Boom. Obviously,
Mm.
don't try to copy directly anything because the worst thing you can be is a pale imitation of someone else's work.
Yeah,
Even with adaptations, like with Deadpool, I don't want to just be a Deadpool comic run that's already existed or a
yeah.
um but I'd say also Junior seems to be your most developed character. Uh so you can do a lot with him. I mean, obviously don't overtake the show. The brothers should still be playing a part. Honestly, they didn't do anything here.
I feel like if you did more of this, there should be more focus on the brothers to like do something because they've had like barely any spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Mm. You guys, so is that it? Because I do kind of have to go.
I don't really have anything else I need to say. How did it feel to come back to writing this after so long?
Oddly, it was just very interesting.
Mm.
So was this one written recently?
As I wrote this like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
All right. I can see. That explains a lot. That explains why so many more jokes landed. There are still some duds, some misfires, but that just kind of comes with writing a comedy, I feel.
Yeah, I suppose you just kind of learn what works and what doesn't through
Yeah.
experience.
There are very few comedies where every single joke has landed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I can count those on one hand. Like maybe the classic Looney Tunes, some of them. Uh, Xavier Renegade Angel. That's about all I can think of.
Yeah. You're gonna have some stinkers.
Mm-hmm. The best joke to me was okay. Iggy's really funny. I really like Iggy,
Yeah.
especially the just adopt your kids like Iggy. Stop. That was the best joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say I was not hearing as much force to your knees laughter as the other sessions, but that might have been a side effect of the recording kind of being a little wacky today.
You weren't
Yeah. I like it. It's been like really weird today.
you weren't hearing as much what?
I think like I feel like there were fewer jokes that actually brought you to your knees laughing, but
I mean, I was laughing a few times, but you couldn't hear me, so.
Jokes that land. The adoption joke killed me. Once again, I'd recommend multiple drafts or even bringing in other people. The thing is, humor is so subjective, and that's the hardest part about writing it. Is that what makes you kind of just have to go with what makes you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But I think generally what I do is I show people jokes from Deadpool. I say, "Hey, did this hit? Did this miss?" And if it misses, what I do is I go rewrite the same joke 1,000 times until it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that.
So, oh, you know what I do, Scrappy? Here's what I do. especially with Deadpool, I often write a bunch of alternate versions of the same joke.
Hmm.
Because oftentimes I'll think, okay, how would I want to word this, say this, time this, and then I just kind of cycle through them until I find one that works. So you could do that. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you how to create because that works different for everyone, but I'm just saying that's something that's worked for me.
Yeah, but I can see that. I mean, yeah, I cycle, I run through jokes in my head, of course, but you know, writing them out could help.
Yeah,
Hmm.
write down stuff. Write down your ideas. That's something I can tell you.
Yeah, if I ever plan, if I ever try writing something like this, then uh, writing like notes down for like just ideas and where you want things to go is just probably just a good idea to get a general roadmap.
I did
And
have a roadmap. This is the only chapter that had a roadmap. I wrote an outline last year and then left it idle until I revisited it for this
the
series.
Oh
roadmaps,
man.
I admit my roadmaps for Deadpool are pretty vague sometimes
Hmm.
because I don't know. I do eventually find a good plot that is I feel coherent, but
I
there's a
should probably
lot of
change it.
stuff I always have to trim.
I had
Yeah.
trim stuff too. Like the conclusion of this story was going to be like a knowledge contest between like Junior and Bowser Senior.
I want. I had to trim. You know what? I'm really hoping I don't have to trim. I really hope I don't have to trim Space Punisher because I'm so happy I got to put Space Punisher in something because he's just I don't know. It's just the absurdity of the fact that a character like Space Punisher exists,
Hmm.
and he is absolutely as ridiculous as he sounds. Um, the first thing we see him do in his comic is okay. Let me put it this way: there is a scene where he fights Red Skull, and Red Skull sends out a bunch of alien Hitler clones at him. Seconds later, we see Frank Castle standing atop a mountain. Oh, and by the way, he says this: "Rise, my Hitlers, rise!" And this sends an army of alien Hitlers at Frank. So what Frank does is mow them down while screaming like a madman. And the last shot was him standing atop a mountain, uh, guns blazing, and just the best part is that Red Skull barely has any reaction to it. He just says, "I'll give you one thing, Mr. Castle. You are persistent." Uh, I forgot where I was going with this. I
Yeah.
just love Space Punisher.
I don't know where this is going anymore either.
But once again, I want you guys to have the same level of honesty I'm giving you here. I'm hoping that works on me for me when you guys look at Deadpool.
Oh yeah. Since we're at the end of this story, since you're the host of this, uh, series, Scrappy, you wanna explain what's happening now?
Yeah, the show's canceled. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, no, we never doing it again.
It was literally just to advertise my fan fiction.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
wasn't a very good advertisement to be honest.
Someone kept dropping in and out the call.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't help that this kept happening.
Show's cancelled. Pack it up. Go home.
Uh,
Yes, well, since we have finally cleared out my not complete but currently on break story, we'll be taking a 2-week break while we like actually try and search for new stories and we're gonna try and read them this time.
And I might pitch some of them.
Yeah.
I might-
Tanner's trying to rope me into Deadpool stories.
Yeah. Anyone's free to send
If you
scrap.
don't, hey, I'm not trying to rope you. You offered.
I mean, anyone's free to send Scrappy stuff, but he has the final say if we're actually doing it on this show. So.
If you don't want to look at it, it's fine.
Oh no, I'll look at it. I'm just being a
Just
douche.
fucking with me.
What did I say? Yeah, I mean, I'll probably revisit this story like eventually.
I have a gun to Scrappy's head. I have been forcing him to help me look at my writing. I've honestly though, so if you want to see Scrappy again, request some fix. If you want to see Scrappy alive, I will fucking kill him without hesitation.
Been killing me proverbially for like the past 3 episodes.
Oh.
And you best hope I am more merciful towards your stories than you are to mine.
Oh.
Are we gonna see random aliens abduct Tanner and his stories?
Yeah, I honestly that could happen. Okay, you know what? I haven't finished part 2 of the Mojo episode, but we could do that. I really have to go to the bathroom, but no, be as vicious as you want.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty much done, so you can go if you want.
Because once again, I gave you compliments, Scrappy. You can't pretend.
A lot of hedging with those compliments, but yes.
Yes. Well, that's just me being me. It's just me being an asshole.
Oh man.
All right, yeah, no, go merciless on me. I don't care.
Well, that concludes our episode of Story Time with Scrappy. We thank you all for bearing with us through a very turbulent episode where you could probably barely hear any of us.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully next time it will be better.
Have like one Smash Brothers / Zelda fans fiction one shot on deck, and we might read that next time alongside
we do.
whatever Tanner can find for us. But otherwise, it's sorry, what?
You found some stuff.
Yeah.
One story that I had from a few weeks back that we never got to.
Oh, okay.
And I will say that I don't think I'm gonna be in every episode of this.
Fair enough.
But I'll definitely be in some of them.
I think it depends on what we're doing.
But no, yeah. See ya. And again, Scrappy, say whatever the hell you want about it. Because no one, you can't. Here's my secret, Cap. Here's my secret, Scrappy. You could never possibly be meaner to my writing than I am. You could never hate my own writing more than I do.
Knowledge accepted.
Oh, right, motherfucker, let's go. Square up.
Oh my god.
I see. Yeah, if I ever revisit the Mario story, well, Mario and Luigi might actually do things. Like this was, but the Bowser Jr. focus was a side effect of A, I just really like Bowser Jr., and B, I only had 4 actual chapters.
Very well.
Yeah. That's been the main highlight for this.
Yo, I could fucking call you Scrappy. You mind if I? The sadist in me now wants to call you out in an episode of Deadpool or something.
Oh, that would be great.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, no. Look, and I can hide behind. I can do this. I can hide behind that it's Wade's opinion and not mine.
Listening to this has been an experience. I agree, Lewis.
I'm so ready Anyway, now that I'm done shilling my superior fanfiction,
Oh god.
Yes.
uh, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop the stream now, unless Scrappy or Nova, you guys have anything else to say?
That's about it.
Zoom in about 2 weeks' time. Sorry, Nova.
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Oh, fair enough.
All right.
We thank you for your participation, and we thank you, the viewers, for your non-participation. Yes, and patience. This has been Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. We bid you
And
good
also
night.
Tanner.
And also Tanner.
Oh, you're a
Whatever I can.
friend.
I stretch the definition of friend. I feel. See you
Stop
guys later.
recording, right, Ari?
Yeah, I can stop now.